Welcome everyone to the Astrological New Year party. I just wanted to do a quick introduction before we started this event. For anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm your host, Mandy Rose. I'm a holistic health coach, a spiritual mentor, and astrologer, and I love helping people make sense of their chaos using the stars. So in this event, we're going to go over so many topics. Make sure you have a notebook, take notes, have your birth chart handy, and if you got your ticket for the event, you should have gotten an email with all the PDFs, downloads, and a video that you should watch beforehand. The video really goes in depth about the basic astrological wheel, so you have a better understanding of how the chart works and the different planets. That way, when we go over it in this event, you won't be completely lost. But feel free to pause, take notes, rewind as many times as you need to, and feel free to message me on social media. My Instagram is mandyrose.1111 for any questions. I also offer birth chart readings where we can dive into your own personal birth chart, help you make better sense of, why you are a certain way, or maybe any questions that you have related to maybe your future, your purpose, your career, any topic of your life. I also offer relational astrology, which helps you better understand your children, your partner, your family members. And then I also do synastry readings, which is pretty much taking two people's birth charts and figuring out their compatibility and helping you better navigate your relationship with that person. So feel free to message me with any questions, and I really hope you enjoy this event. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me today, because this whole day was just so special to me, because I knew that this whole year was going to be so, unique to 2021. And putting this whole event together, every time I want to do something, whether it was create my journal or put an event together, I see it in my mind and I know exactly what I want it to look like. And then it's like that actual execution part between my thought and then like the actual day of the event. And it's the chaos in the middle that I've learned to embrace, because once I put it on the calendar and I start promoting it, I'm like, crap, I've got to do this. And then here I am up last night till 2:30 in the morning because I'm a Virgo sun. And nothing is good enough. And so, I'm just going to kind of go with everything that I planned. And like I said, if there's things I'm leaving out or things you guys want more info on, we will totally dive into that. If you have your birth chart handy, I want to kind of just go over that really, really briefly, because a lot of times what people send me from their birth chart is the little chart on CoStar that just kind of like says a few basic things, like where your Mars is, where your Venus is, where your sun and moon and rising is. Those are really important pieces. However, when we're talking about the astrological event, so when we're actually talking about a new moon, a full moon, a retrograde, like a certain planetary placement, like today and now, you want to know if you have any planets in that exact part of the sky. Not if it's like in that same zodiac sign, but like in that same area of the sky. And so that's what we call degrees. So if you guys see this little wheel behind me, there are 12 zodiac signs, right? So we have Aries today, and then we have Taurus season, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, as it goes around the astrological wheel. Each season has 30 degrees. Times 12 would be 360, an entire circle. So in those seasons, we have the sun, the sun is the ruler of the season. So today, which is the first day of Aries, the sun went into Aries. So it's what we call at 1 degree of Aries. And the sun will move 1 degree every single day. So that's why a zodiac season is approximately 30 days. Now, nothing in astrology is exact. So some years the sun will move, 30 days. Sometimes it takes 29 days. Everything in the universe is expanding energetically. And that's why, year to year astrological seasons can shift a little bit. But essentially the sun is going to go from 1 degree Aries today until it hits 29 degrees Aries. And then it will move into 1 degree of of Taurus. And then we start Taurus season. So when you were born, your birth chart is a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. And that's why all the planets will have a little number next to them. And that is what's considered the degrees. So let's say, for instance, you were born under like Taurus, you're a Taurus sun. That's great. We know that you're a Taurus sun. You and like have all the Taurus elements. However, if your Taurus sun was at 5 degrees, it would be very different if you had a Taurus sun at 20 degrees, if the new moon was happening at 20 degrees of Taurus. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So when we're going to talk about things today, I'm going to give you guys the degrees and the sign. So if I say a new moon is happening at 20 degrees of Taurus, you're going to look at your birth chart and you're going to see if you have any planets that fall first in the zodiac sign of Taurus. And then if they do, you're going to look and see at what degree and how close is that degree to the event that's happening. So 20 degrees new moon. Does that make sense? I'll break it down a couple more times because I know it can be a little complicated. I absolutely hate math. So I kind of see this more from like a picture in the sky versus like the numbers. So I will go over it again and again for you guys. So that's kind of just like the super basic on your birth chart and why to have it handy as we kind of go along. Now, one of the PDFs that I sent you guys is like an entire list of all the events for the year with the degrees. So you can keep that handy throughout the year as these events come up. And if you have your 2021 retrograde journal, you can go through and like when you see a new moon or full moon, go take notes in your journal and put what degree each event is happening. So when it comes up, you can be like, oh, okay, that's where it's happening in the sky. I know it's like a lot of advanced stuff, but I just want to give you guys as much information as I possibly can. And knowing that this is going to be recorded, you guys can go back and watch it again. So that's kind of the basic on that. We have our 2 presenters today. I'm so excited. Brittany is on with us right now. Diana will be on later. Brittany is a self-care and nutrition coach, and her Instagram handle is That Selfish Bitch. And she talks all about self-care and being selfish in a way that's not the like cliche self-care, go take a bath and get a massage. Like her version of self-care is very empowering and it's very like every day of every moment. And she's going to dive into that genius after we take a little break later. And then Diana's going to hop on. She does neuro-linguistic programming. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a way of brain feedback training and helping you reprogram these subconscious beliefs that we start learning when we're young, when we're children, that we don't even realize we're learning. It's just the environment that we're in. So she's actually going to help us get rid of some fear, which is amazing because Aries season is about being fearless as fuck. Like Aries doesn't care. It's going to go for it. And if it messes up, it's okay. We have 11 more seasons in the zodiac until next year, and we can relearn that lesson again later. So she's going to do that, and then she's actually going to do a breathwork session. So as we end this and wrap this up today, she's actually going to help us like do some work on releasing. So let's start with today. We are in the age of Aquarius. And I know I talk about this all the time. So if you guys have like watched my videos and like have become aware of the age of Aquarius, I'm sorry if it's repetitive, but I really feel like it's something that we need to like constantly remind ourselves because we're in the middle of the super powerful movement. The age of Aquarius is all about us moving away from these Capricorn energies of being successful, driven, needing to be number one, having the biggest house and the best car and all the material things. Like, I feel like society, we collectively feel like I am over that. Like, I really don't care, right? Like, I would rather have like a miniature house in the woods and travel all over the world, right? I'd rather have a community of people I absolutely love than like be the coolest kid on the block, right? So as Saturn is our planet of Lord Karma. He is the tough love dad that we don't really want to listen to, but we kind of know he's right and he wants the best for us. And so Saturn moved into Aquarius last year. And as he's making his 3-year migration through Aquarius, he is going to reiterate these lessons to us over and over again. Teaching us discipline, teaching us structure, helping us build foundation in Aquarius themes. Now, Aquarius is the humanitarian. Like, Aquarius wants what's best for the collective. very opposite from Capricorn vibes, very opposite from that selfish, I'm number one, look at me energy, to like, how can I help people around me? Because if I help the people around me, I'm going to feel good and that helps me, right? And then I love that Aquarius represents uniqueness and authenticity. Like being weird AF is super cool during the age of Aquarius. Like you need to let your freak flag fly. You need to like be that unique part of your soul that is just you, like your unique imprint, and you have to let it shine to the world. Because with Saturn being all about karma and discipline, the more authentic you are, the more you shine your unique self, the more reward you're going to become during this age of Aquarius. Aquarius also rules technology and innovation. So if you feel like there isn't really a place out there for you, let's say like you really have this vision to have like a certain career or job, but like it doesn't exist, guess what? It's going to exist in the next couple of years. That's the beautiful thing with the age of Aquarius, is we get to create our reality and we get to create the jobs that we want. Like I said, the Capricorn energy of like being the CEO and having a brick and mortar business and like doing the same old things is like going to be necessary, obviously, to society's growth. However, it's not going to be where most people find their happiness and their reward. So we have this opportunity to create the jobs and the opportunities that we want. And like, let's say, for instance, in like the realm of spirituality, like you feel like you have a gift where you can like maybe feel energies, or you get these intuitive downloads, and you used to think 5 years ago, like there was no way in hell that you would ever make money from that. Now think about today in the age of Aquarius. Doesn't that seem like totally ridiculous that 5 years ago someone thought they wouldn't be able to make money on that? Because now everybody wants a medium friend. Everyone wants an energy healer, right? So this is like the direction we're going. So keep that in mind as we move through the age of Aquarius.
I wanted to add in here, which we didn't talk about during the live event, is finding Aquarius in your birth chart. So since we are in this age of Aquarius with Saturn, the Lord Karma, our parental dad teaching us tough lessons, we have to find Aquarius in our birth chart and see which house Saturn is playing this karma out for us. So wherever you see Aquarius fall, for instance, let's say it's in your second house. The second house is represented by finance. If you look at the chart that's posted here, this is all the houses and the themes that they represent. So if you have Aquarius in your second house, that means during this age of Aquarius, so very much so this year, over the next 3 years, this is going to be the part of your life that's going to be affected where you need to restructure, rebuild. There might be some karma that plays out, some lessons that you need to learn, because Saturn is going to be in this part of your birth chart for the next 3 years. So every time you hear Age of Aquarius, you hear, future technology and changes and humanitarianism. This is the part of your life where you kind of have to incorporate those themes. So back to the example, if you have Aquarius in your second house of finances, then it's going to appear that you need to, over the next 3 years, work on your money, work on your daily routines, look at your material possessions, see how in the second house here on this chart, those are the themes that are going to be impacted. So find where Aquarius falls in your chart and really focus on that over the next 3 years.
The other major thing for the year that I want you guys to constantly remember is we have Uranus in Taurus, and that's going to last us until 2026. So we have years and years of this to go on. And Uranus is the planet of rebellion and revolution. He wants to shake the hell out of things and blow it up without asking for permission, and it's going to happen like that, okay? Lightning bolt change. And he's in Taurus. Taurus is the sign of finances, okay? So keep that in mind. Agriculture, also major red flag there, and holistic health, medicine, alternative remedies. So these are 3 major themes of Taurus, and Uranus is here to shake the hell out of that. So the one thing, if all this blows over your head, I want you guys to remember is with Uranus and Taurus, financial upset, financial shakeup, and shifting of financial resources and the markets is bound to happen. The last time Uranus did his dance in Taurus happened during the Great Depression, okay? So things seem great and things seem amazing, but Uranus likes to shake things up so that there can be more fair awareness, so there can be more abundance for everyone else, so that there can be a way of us making money without feeling like we're constantly getting screwed by big institutions and being screwed by like the other guy. Okay. So keep that in mind. Same thing with agriculture, this whole movement towards like self-sustaining farming and people wanting to have gardens and like people being more resourceful with like meat and animal products. That's going to continue on for the next years. Same thing with holistic medicine and alternative therapies. It's going to expand. It's going to shake things up, and people are going to kind of like reevaluate those parts of our life. Then we have Jupiter in Aquarius as well. This year, Jupiter lasts in each zodiac season for 1 year. So Jupiter has not been here in Aquarius for about 12 years, and he's going to hang out with Saturn. They're like roomies right now. They're going to like hang out. They're going to be roomies for the next year. And Jupiter loves like abundance and blessings and happiness. And he like is just like the party animal. And then you have Saturn over here that's like, nah, bro, we have to like have structure and discipline. And I'm like the parent telling you to calm the hell down, right? Imagine that roommate situation and like how that can be a little volatile, but like also help each other out, right? Like one helps the other. And then the coolest thing is by next year, December 28th to be exact, we're going to have Jupiter actually like leave his roommate. He's going to be like, bye, see you later. I'm moving on. I'm sick of you. And he's going to move into Pisces. And we're going to talk more about that as we get to that in the overview. But this is going to be beautiful, dreamy, super abundant. So this is the year for Saturn to say, let's set some foundations. Let's create structure in our lives. We don't have to build the entire house in 1 year. We just need to have that foundation. So if you're not feeling the abundance, the blessings, the rewards, like everything that you're working for, it's coming next year. It's coming next year. So just be patient. And as we kind of talk about this entire year, you'll kind of make sense as to like why we're not there yet. We have some retrogrades. We got some lessons to learn. We got some hiccups to kind of like smooth out before we can take on the blessings. So that's kind of the entire overview of where we're at and like what this year is going to entail from the major planets. Also, I want to remind you guys with astrology and everything I talk about or everything that you read, it is not set in stone. This is not like a prediction, like on this day, this is going to happen and the stock market's going to crash. Like you can go back in history and look at like patterns and they all kind of do line up. However, we all have free will. Like we literally can create our own realities. We can shift, we can change. And some of us, it takes us longer to learn lessons. So there's always free will and nothing set in stone. So if I say something like, Mercury's in retrograde, you can't sign a contract. Okay, you shouldn't, and you can avoid it if at all possible. But if you can't avoid it, like the world's not going to go under. Okay, like it doesn't mean you're not going to be abundant. It just means like pay extra attention, double cross and check everything. Okay. So I just want to say that as we go along, because I love all of you who call me and you're like, okay, it says in the book, like you shouldn't get married during a Venus retrograde, but like I already planned my entire wedding. Do I cancel it? And I'm like, I mean, I would, because I'm a psychopath, but I'm not going to suggest you do that. So I just want to like put that out there. Okay. The other thing is we're going to talk about eclipses. This is really cool because I feel like this is coming up in mass media a lot, is the eclipse cycles. And they're awesome phenomena, like CNN and all the like media love to report eclipses. But what the hell do they actually mean in astrology? So eclipses essentially mean that we have these two like points in space. They're not actually planets, they're like points in space. And one is called the North Node and one is called the South Node. The North Node is indicative of our future destiny, where we're meant to go, our purpose. Now, we all have one in our birth chart that indicates where we are supposed to go, but we also have one, like I said, in this astrological new year, starting this new year. And like we had one last year too. And then same thing with the South Node. The South Node is our past life, like our karma, like the things that we already know and have dealt with, okay? So that's what happens when we have eclipses. We're going to have eclipse cycles. So when there's a North Node eclipse, then there will be a South Node eclipse, and they kind of play off of each other. About every 1.5 years, we will switch eclipse cycles and move into a different theme and a different lesson. And that's kind of happening right now this year. We just kind of entered in December a new cycle of Sagittarius and Gemini. And Sagittarius is all about long-term travel. Gemini is short-term travel. We kind of feel that pull in society right now, right? Like, how far can I travel? Can I go internationally? Not yet. Okay, I can go like to the next state, but I can't go this far. So that's like the eclipses that are playing out right now. Last year, our eclipses were in Capricorn and Cancer. So obvious of last year. Capricorn was like being number one, being successful, doing all the things. And then Cancer was home. What happened last year? We were like working and grinding, doing all the things, and then everything stopped and we stayed home with our families, and we did things like, that felt nostalgic to us and our childhood, and kind of revisited those lessons. So right now we've kind of shifted out of that like home and success cycle, and now we're in this like Gemini Sagittarius. Long-term travel versus short-term travel, education and learning, which is Sagittarius, to Gemini, which is socializing and teaching, Sagittarius being like adventurous and spontaneous, Gemini being social. So these are the themes that we're kind of like balancing back and forth right now this year.
I know this can be very confusing, so I wanted to put a chart in here, which we did not talk about during the event, to help you better understand the eclipse cycle. So last year we were wrapping up the Capricorn Cancer eclipses, and now we are fully in the Sagittarius and Gemini eclipse cycle. Back in December, we had a new moon in Sagittarius, which is what we consider a solar eclipse. Now, 6 months later, on May 26th, which you can see in this chart, we are going to have a full moon eclipse in Sagittarius. So that wraps up that 6-month cycle. So think back to December during the new moon, which was in the middle of the month, how you were feeling, what you were manifesting, because now we are going to have a full moon in Sagittarius in May on the 26th that wraps up that cycle. And since Sagittarius is our south node, our past karma, things we need to wrap up, that is going to be a very big ending of a cycle. And then you can see from the chart here that on December 4th, we will have one more new moon in Sagittarius also as an eclipse. So this wraps up our eclipse cycle for Sagittarius. Now we have Gemini, which is our north node. We are going to be having a solar eclipse on June 10th in Gemini. That is our north node. This is a new moon. Solar eclipses are new moons. Mark this date down because we are going to have a new moon, which is a new beginning, in our north node, which is our future destiny and our purpose, happening as a solar eclipse. And we will have the sun and the moon conjunct, hanging out together in the sky, creating this solar eclipse. And we will also have other planets in Gemini. So this will be a great manifestation for this new eclipse cycle. Now you can see here in the chart that on November 19th, we are going to actually have an eclipse in Taurus. This is going to be the switching of the nodes that I had mentioned during the event. So we were in a Capricorn Cancer eclipse during the March of 2020. This year, we are having Gemini Sagittarius eclipses, and next year, we're going to be moving into Taurus Scorpio eclipses. So for this year, we're focusing on the Gemini Sagittarius themes, and next year, we will be moving into the Taurus Scorpio themes. So hopefully that makes it a little bit more clear for you guys on eclipses and the cycles I had mentioned.
Okay, so this is the birth chart of today. For most people, this makes absolutely no sense. That's totally okay. I'm going to go over it and you guys can take notes on it and look at it again later. So essentially, we're going to start
can you hear me?
The sun. Where is the sun? Every time we look at a birth chart, where is the sun? The sun is right here. So this is Aries right here. The symbol for Aries is right here. And the sun is this little purple ring right here. The sun is, like I said, entering Aries at 1 degree, and then he's going to migrate his way through Aries all the way to 30 degrees. When he pops over here into Gemini, then we will be in Gemini season. So the coolest thing is, with the birth chart of today, we have Venus, our planet of love, our planet of passion and beauty and morals and that feel-good vibe Venus, walking into Aries season with us today, hand in hand with the sun, holding onto the sun, saying the sun being ourself, our core and who we are, and then Venus being our love planet. And they're walking into this new year together saying, hey, if you just stay in your heart, if you stay on a vibration of love, if you stay true to yourself on what you love and who you love, things are going to be really beautiful this year. So remember that throughout this entire year, if you're feeling any type of way, good, bad, struggles, challenges, remember this day, this birth chart. Venus and the sun walked hand in hand into this year. This is massive, guys, because that doesn't always happen, that two planets enter a new sign together. The last time that happened was on December 21st when we saw the Christmas star, and that was Jupiter and Saturn, these roommates, starting the age of Aquarius. So these things are rare, and when they happen, we have to pay attention and keep them in our hearts and keep them in our minds. The other major thing is we're going to look at the moon. Where is the moon? The moon is our emotions. Last year, the moon was in Pisces. Okay, so we had a very emotional year last year. Like, people got very spiritual. We had awakenings. People dealt with addictions because the moon in Pisces last year deals with addictions. We saw that last year with the pandemic, people going down that route, depression, alcoholism, all these things started to surface because we started a year last year in March with the moon in Pisces. This year, the moon is in Gemini. And Gemini is a sign that's about socializing. It's about communicating. So we have to remember this year that our communication, which is, our mind, Gemini rules the mind. And then we have the moon, which is our emotions. So our mind and our emotions are going to be very connected this year. So keep that in mind. And then we're going to talk about Mercury. Mercury is still in Pisces. He's not here yet. So if you feel like you're still kind of dealing with like Mercury retrograde vibes where you're like, oh, things are slow, I don't have this motivation yet, like what is happening? I just can't think, I can't speak, I don't feel like socializing. That's okay, because Mercury staying in Pisces in this birth chart is saying, we got to slow down. We can't be taking in on all this information all the time, process overload. Like, that's not going to be good for us this year. We need to kind of reflect on the things that we're thinking and feel the things that we're thinking before we do them. So that is really, really important. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the nodes. So the nodes aren't on this chart, but I just want to say one more time, we have the North Node in Gemini. So where we're going this year, the North Node in Gemini, it's going to be about socializing. It's going to be about communicating. It's going to be about short-term travel, getting out of our house, but exploring our communities, exploring our networks, exploring our own backyards, the things that exist right within us. So keep that in mind throughout the year as well.
So something I did not talk about in the event when we discussed the astrological birth chart of 2021 is Mars placement. So if you can see Gemini here on the chart where the moon is located, we also have Mars. Now, I don't know how I forgot to mention this because this is really, really important. Mars is our passion. It's our drive. It's our ambition. It's also our sexual drive. And like I had mentioned a couple times, our North Node right now is in Gemini. So to have our moon, which is our emotions, Mars, which is our passion and our drive and our will, lining up with our North Node of future destiny in this birth chart for 2021, that's amazing. That really is giving us the extra permission from the universe saying, I am lining up your passion and your drive with your future destiny, the North Node. And this is the time for you to really pursue those things. So this Gemini Mars placement is absolutely beautiful. And I didn't mention in the event either about Saturn and Jupiter. So you can see, if you look for Aquarius in the chart, it's the green symbol with the two waves at the bottom of the chart. You can see that there's two planets in that sign. One is Saturn, which looks like the little H, and the other one is Jupiter, which is like the funky little 4. Those two are roommates for this year. And Saturn is bringing us the discipline and the structure, and Jupiter is bringing us the blessings, luck, and abundance if we can accomplish that structure. So they're working together as a team throughout the year. Now, Saturn is going to be hanging out here for the next 2.5 years. Jupiter will only be here in this year until December 28th. So this is a really pertinent theme for us all the way up until December. And then even after that, Saturn is going to teach us even more with the Aquarius themes of humanitarianism, uniqueness, being an individual, and also the future technology innovations, like coming up with new, crazy, awesome ideas to find the Jupiter's luck, blessing, and abundance. So hopefully that makes sense. I didn't talk about it during the event, but I thought it was really important to show you guys on the chart.
The other coolest thing about this chart and where we are today energetically is there are no active retrogrades. No retrogrades right now. This is super, super rare. You guys can see we have so many planets. Usually at one point, there's always at least one planet going retrograde. And that's amazing that we have no planet saying you don't have to redo anything, you don't have to reassess, you don't have to relearn, you don't have to anything. This is the universe's green light go this year. We just need to go for it. This is the year that we need to take those baby steps and create the structure to get to our goal next year. This birth chart is giving us the green light to do it. This is the year to do it. It's super rare to not have a single retrograde, but it's even more rare that this one is going to last 2.5 months. That is insane. 2.5 months with not a single retrograde. So I absolutely love that. I think that is so, so cool. And if that's not your message to like start accomplishing your dreams, I don't know what else is. So hopefully that gives you guys a complete overview on everything. We kind of talked about the year overview. So now I kind of want to hop over to, let me see. I'm going to hop over to the PDF that I sent you guys for all the seasons. We'll start with Aries. So with, like I said, Aries season is all about new beginnings. We are in a new cycle, a new start, a fresh new beginning. And Aries starts us off with passion, fire, drive. Aries is related to the age of 0 to 7 years old. So if you can imagine what a toddler is like until they're the age of 7, they are fearless. They do not care. They're a little, I don't want to say selfish because that's kind of the wrong word, but they're kind of just worried about themselves. They're not worried about anyone else. They're making sure their needs are met. They're taking care of themselves. They are accomplishing things that they want to do. They see a playground with a slide. They go run on the slide. They don't think, how tall is the slide? Am I going to make it down the slide? Am I going to bump myself on the slide? They just run and play on the slide. And that's what Aries energy is asking us to do. Passion, drive, ambition, and most of all, fearlessness. So that's how we're going to start this energy in this year. So really kind of take these next 4 weeks and ask yourself, what in my life am I being a little fearful of? Why have I not run for my dreams yet? Why have I been holding back? What is it? What am I so afraid of? So kind of pay attention to that, because once you assess that, once you get over that, you're going to feel like you can accomplish anything. So that's kind of like the message as we begin this. We're going to have a full moon in Libra at 8 degrees. So check your chart for 8 degrees of Libra and 8 degrees of Aries. Every time that we have a full moon, there's going to be 2 zodiac points that you're going to want to look at for the degrees. Because a full moon means that you have the sun in one part of the sky and the moon directly across from it. So that's why the full moons all have 2 degrees and 2 zodiac signs to look at. Versus a new moon means that the moon and the sun are exactly on top of each other. So we only have 1 point in the sky that we're going to be looking at energetically for the degrees in your birth chart. The cool thing that I put on in here is that we have Venus entering Taurus on April 14th. Put this on your calendar. It is so freaking beautiful because Venus is the planet of love. Like I said, it's all about our morals, it's beauty, it's love, it's that feel-good feeling. And Taurus is the most sensual sign. It loves to touch nice things. It loves to smell nice things. It loves to hear and, experience all these beautiful luxuries. It's very lavish. So you are going to be feeling this energy of sensuality, along with the passion of Aries, starting April 14th. So expect that, be excited for it, put some things on your calendar around that day. It's going to just be dreamy and beautiful. And then we have the new moon in Aries. This new moon is actually the new moon of the year, the first new moon of the astrological year that you're going to want to do intentions. You're going to want to set your intentions around this new moon because we're going to have the sun and the moon, and then we're also going to have Mercury in Aries at this time. Lots of new energy, new intention setting, new passion. So if you kind of don't feel that drive yet, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to run for my dreams. I can't wait. I'm so excited. If you don't feel that yet, it's okay. By this new moon, you're going to be a lot more clear and you're going to be a lot more fearless because you're going to work on being a little more fearless and you're going to work on figuring out what your passion and drive is. So by April 22nd, you're going to be ready.
Now, here's the cool thing. April 22nd is the date of the new moon, and it's happening at 22 degrees of Aries. 2222. Pretty cool. I love when the universe does stuff like that. So that's pretty much that. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to bring up about Aries season. Like I said, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, we have 11 more zodiac seasons to go until we make it through this entire cycle, this entire year. So that's why Aries is so like fearless. It doesn't care. We're going to try it. And if it doesn't work, I got 11 more seasons to figure it out. So I don't need to figure it out right now. I don't have to have the entire house built by the end of Aries season. We are going to deal with this, and then we're going to get into Taurus season, which will be more about like our feel good. It's going to be grounded. We're going to get working. We're going to start checking off the to-do list. Then we get to Gemini season, which is all about the mind. We're going to start learning. We're going to start researching. We're going to start socializing, expanding our network. And then we get into Cancer season where it's very like home and nostalgic and family. So we go through all these parts of the year to help us reach our goal. We're not meant to reach our goal in 4 weeks. We're meant to reach goals like in years and in cycles. So that's why it's okay to be fearless right now. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. We're gonna try it again and try it again until it absolutely works. No doubt about that at all. Let's see here. The other cool thing is in Aries season, we have Chiron. Chiron in our zodiac chart is the wounded warrior, the healer. And Chiron is in Aries for the next 5 years. So we have this healing energy of Chiron, this healer in Aries, starting out the year. So anything that we do is for our greater healing, whether we're healing the parts of us that is afraid, whether we're healing the parts of us that need some more self-care and some respect. If we're healing ourselves and working towards our goals, that's kind of the energy that we have helping us get through Aries season, this Chiron warrior. If you have your retrograde journal, we're going to have a retrograde in Chiron. So it's like in the middle of the summer, I want to say July or August. So you can read more about Chiron in your retrograde journal if you haven't like heard too much about that. The other thing I want to mention is now's not a good time to go on vacation. We don't have vacation vibes right now. We have go time. This is go time. No more chilling. No more like, you know, the whole Pisces, like disconnected and distraction. This is go time. So I wouldn't really recommend you taking a little break right now or taking a vacation. This is like, get to it. Green light go from the universe. No retrogrades. We don't need to chill. We've learned so much right now. We don't be stuck in paralysis analysis. Don't be stuck because you don't have all the answers. Just go for it and the answers will come. And I think that's all I wanted. So we're into Taurus season now. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So like I said, it's kind of all about like the sensual things. It's smelling good things, tasting good things, experiencing really nice things. It's also the financial sign. So this is the part in our goals where we first take Aries season, where we create our passion, we create our drive, we become fearless, and we start to decide to run for things. And then Taurus comes around and is like, all right, so now we got to have some financial goals, right? Because we can't just be running out here in the world all crazy, all haywire. We got to like have some structure and discipline with our finances so that our goals become long-term goals, right? It's one thing to like have a goal of buying a Louis Vuitton purse. And of course, you could go do that in the next 4 weeks. But how does that affect your long-term goal of buying a car or buying a house? So that's what we do in Taurus season. We kind of focus more on the financial side of things, our long-term goals, and we kind of deal with like the earth energy. Like Taurus is very earth. So we have these amazing things on planet Earth that tickle our senses, right? We can go outside and smell the flowers, and we can feel the rain on our skin, and we can lay in the sun and feel the warmth on our skin. So even though Taurus is about lavish and luxury, it's about using the earth as it's like lavish and luxury, the gifts that it's giving us already. So that's what we want to focus on during Taurus season. Now, during Taurus season, we are going to start our retrograde season. Now, we have no retrogrades for 2.5 months. Green light go. We got to run for those dreams. On April 27th, I want everyone to put on their calendar that this is when the retrograde season starts. So if you need to go buy a big purchase, a new car, you need to make something happen, you need to sign a contract, you want to start a new business, you want to file for your LLC, you want to create something new. Remember, everything that's new has a birth chart. So you don't want a retrograde in your birth chart if you don't have to. If you can avoid it,
do so. So before April 27th, get those things started so that when the retrograde season comes up and we go through retrogrades, we're going to have, I think it's a total of 7 planets that are going to retrograde all the way until January of next year. There's going to be at least 1 planet in retrograde all the way till January of next year. So keep that in mind and keep that on your calendar. The other thing is we're going to have Jupiter moving into Pisces. So I want everyone to look in your birth chart for where Aquarius and where Pisces falls in your chart. So I'm going to pull this up really quick. What house? So it'll say what house Aquarius falls and what house Pisces falls. Now, we're in the age of Aquarius. So this is where we're going to be focusing our energy for the next 3 years. This is the part of our life that is going to need change, structure, discipline, organization. Saturn is here creating that dad vibe of you got to do things right and you got to do them, with long-term goals. So Aquarius, age of Aquarius is happening in your Aquarius house. So wherever that falls on this chart, I sent it to you guys, look up that chart, that house number, and read what part of your life is going to be affected. Now, when Jupiter moves away from Aquarius and moves into Pisces, this is bringing luck, abundance, and blessings to you in 2022. Look in your chart where Jupiter is going to be moving. Where is Pisces? What house does this fall in? Is it your first house, your second house, your third house? Wherever Jupiter is going to be in Pisces in your chart next year, look up the house on this chart, and that's where you're going to find lots of blessings, luck, and abundance for next year. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that makes sense, and I can go over that again. And if you have questions, feel free to ask at the end. We can totally go over that some more. So why I'm saying this is because on May 13th, Jupiter is going to be moving into Pisces. He's only going to be dancing here for about 2 months until July, until he goes back into Aquarius. He's not done learning his lessons. It's like he has that roommate Saturn. Remember I was saying the roommate situation? You got Jupiter and you got Saturn and they're roommates right now. And Jupiter is like, I think I'm going to move out, or I just got a boyfriend and I'm going to go live with my boyfriend, right? So Jupiter is like, peace out, Saturn. I'll be home every once in a while to eat some food and maybe clean my room once in a while. But then Jupiter moves. He's like moving out and going to Pisces where it feels good. Jupiter loves being in Pisces. That he's the ruler of Pisces. He feels like at home. He is like moving and grooving and living his best life. But he's only going to be there for 2 months. So imagine you move out on your roommate. You don't move out. You're still paying rent, but you leave and you're going to live with your boyfriend and then it doesn't quite work out. Or maybe you just aren't ready to live together because you're okay. He still doesn't pick up his dirty laundry on the floor and it just pisses me off and I want to go home to my clean room. Jupiter moves back in with Saturn in July. He's going to move back in. Now, when he moves back in, Saturn's like, well, I've been living here the whole time. This is my house. I pretty much took over. So you really got to follow my rules now. So Jupiter is going to have to go back and deal with some lessons and wrap up some things before he's going to be in Pisces next year. So why I'm saying this is because from May 13th until July, mid-July, we're going to be feeling real good. Some themes are going to come up in our lives. We're going to get these little nuggets of abundance, something really good might happen in your life or in a certain area. Maybe you have a new relationship that pops up, or maybe a family relation kind of clicks and starts to have some hope. Ooh, maybe we can get along, or maybe you get a new job opportunity. It's not the one that you want, but now you're qualified for that position, right? Because you got it, but it's not the exact one you want. So whatever blessings come into your life over the course of May and June, keep them in mind because that's going to be indicative of what's going to come to you next year. So put that on your calendar, whatever feels good. This is a good time to go on vacation. This is a good time to do things that are manifesting and abundance and joy and happiness. So a good time to go on vacation would be then. So that's kind of for Taurus. Let's move into Gemini. And then we're going to jump in to our guest speaker, Brittany, because she is a Gemini. So I feel like this will be the perfect transition. Gemini season. Put on your calendar. We want to pay attention to May 23rd. So first we're going to have Pluto go retrograde on April 28th. And I want to touch on that real quick. Pluto is the first planet to go retrograde. So when we start a retrograde cycle, Pluto is the planet of transformation, massive transformation. He is coming in and he just tears things down for your greater good. You have no idea it's coming, but he's doing it all behind the scenes for you. He's the first planet that's going to go retrograde after this 2.5-month break. So we're starting the retrograde season with the biggest heavy hitter going in first, saying, we're going to really shake some stuff up. So as these retrogrades unfold, we're going to have 5 at a time, and then we're going to have like 3 at a time, and it's all going to shake up. But Saturn's going to go next. So first we have the biggest heavy hitter, Pluto, and then we have our second heavy hitter, Saturn, going retrograde. And Saturn is, like I said, discipline, karma, structure. So there's going to be some part of our life that we thought we had it under control. We thought we had some foundation. We thought we had some stability. We thought we did it right. And Saturn's going to be like, actually, you forgot this. There's a little crack over there, and we got to redo that foundation. Okay, maybe you didn't anticipate this. And we really need to make sure that you have all your ducks in the row with your taxes, for instance, right? Because we just went through Taurus season, which is finances. Maybe you haven't been really keeping track of all your financials. And now Saturn's going to be like, you better do some better bookkeeping, because otherwise your foundation isn't stable. So that's why when Saturn goes retrograde, we need to be looking at like the foundation, structure, authority, discipline. Then Mercury's going to go retrograde next. So we have these major planets retrograding, and then Mercury, it's going to be his turn. This Mercury retrograde that happens on May 29th is going to be in Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. So when Mercury is doing a retrograde in his home sign where he feels at home, it's classic Mercury retrograde symptoms. Classic, like technology breaking, travel plans going haywire, stuff getting all jacked up. So to go back, if you want to use this Jupiter in Pisces May 13th for a vacation, I suggest you do it before Mercury goes retrograde May 29th. So plan that vacation between May 13th and May 29th, because you don't want to be going on vacation in this Mercury retrograde. Unless you're going to take the long way there, your trip's going to be canceled, like your phone will break. So classic Mercury retrograde symptoms during May 29th's retrograde. And that's really the major things. June 10th, we have our first solar eclipse in Gemini. This is going to be awesome because this is, like I said, moving towards our future. Our North Node, like things that happen around this solar eclipse are for the future. Things change, things shift. It's going to be really good. It's going to be saying, hey, we're going to be moving in this direction, more socializing, more teaching, more communicating in a clearer way. It's going to say, social media changes with social media and the way that we use it. So a lot of things like that around June 10th, this first eclipse cycle. I think that's all I wanted to say about Gemini. And now I'm going to have Brittany come on and share her genius. I'm going to just share with you guys again. Brittany is a self-care and nutrition coach, and she is going to teach us how to be selfish and not apologize for it, which is going to be perfect for Aries season. Like I said, in order to accomplish our dreams, we actually have to be a little bit more selfish. So with the green light from the universe that this is the year we need to focus on our goals, the only way that we can make that goal happen is actually by putting ourselves first, which is foreign for most of us. We're made to feel bad about it. And so Brittany's here to actually help us reframe our thinking. So as we go through this year, we don't care. We just don't care anymore about being selfish. So Brittany, I'm going to let you take over. I'm going to put myself on mute, and I'm going to let you shine.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you so much for this event. This is so great, by the way. You're doing so amazing. I'm learning so much. So this is so great. And happy Astrological New Year, everyone. As Mandy said, I am a nutrition coach and self-care coach, and I specialize in helping women put themselves first and giving them some tools to do so. First of all, self-care by definition just means taking care of yourself, right? So, what does that mean? There's a lot of ways that we take care of ourselves. There's the way that we eat. There's the way that we dress and the way that we present ourselves to the world, all these ways. But basically, it's taking care of ourselves, and we get to choose how we do that. So the main thing that I feel like over the years, there's been this movement, this whole self-love movement, which is amazing. But to me, self-love is kind of lofty. Like, what does that mean? Okay, like I can get up and tell myself every day, I love myself. You can get up and tell yourself every day, I love myself. But then if the actions that you're taking throughout the day aren't really reflecting that, then, do you, or what does that mean? So in my case, the way I teach it is that self-care is self-love in action. So it's those choices that you make moment to moment every day to put yourself first and put your best interests first. And there are lots of ways that we do that. I have a little system that I created, or it's actually just called 7 Steps to Becoming a Selfish Bitch. So I will share those with you. Number 1, first and foremost, is your beliefs. You have to first believe anything is possible. Like, you are limitless. You are of the earth. You are of the same dust that makes up the stars and the air and the water and the oceans. Like, you are that. So start treating yourself like that. Start understanding you are that magical, and you are so worthy and so deserving of anything that your mind can possibly conceive of, and start acting from that place. A lot of times, and based on everything, we operate just by default from lack or fear and of there's not enough. And that's the first thing that I ask everyone to just, in all ways, just start reversing that, start replacing those beliefs with, yes, I can, yes, I am, yes, anything is possible. Number 1, first and foremost. So we're starting with beliefs. And then second is your space, to clear your space, your physical spaces. I'm talking about cleaning your room, cleaning your car, keeping your office space organized, your desk. I heard one time, money doesn't flow into chaos. And from then I was like, okay, everything is always going to be completely tidy. Everything is in its spot. There's a spot for everything. And I'm also really good about if I'm done with something, I don't keep clothes for a long time. Like, I'll clear the closet out. We'll donate that stuff and all of that. I just think, keeping your spaces clear, it really does allow for you to have clear thoughts and clear flow. So you can do number 3, which is get crystal clear on what do you want? What in life do you want? And a lot of times we go through life thinking like, oh, if I only had that, or once I get this or that, then my life will be good. But what does that really mean? What do you want? Do you want a fancy car, or do you want, that particular house? Do you want this job? Do you want that relationship? A lot of times we don't even know. We just think that they out there have it better than us. So getting really, really clear down to every single detail of what you want your life to look like. And that doesn't need to be overwhelming either. You don't have to remodel your whole life in one day, but pick one area that's really important to you. Pick, if it's I'm a nutrition coach, so if it's your health, if there's something about your health or your body, get really crystal clear on what that is that you want. Or if it's your job, if you're not happy with your job right now, a lot of people feel that way, or they don't feel like they're making enough money. But what does enough mean? What is that number to you? You have to get really clear on that so that you can start programming your body. And I'm sure we'll get into that later in the evening, but programming your nervous system to hold the energy of what you want in those bigger, and now that you're thinking limitless, it's going to take some time to reprogram your body to be able to hold space for that energy for what you deserve. So just start working little by little with that, but get really, really crystal clear on what you want. So that is number 3. Number 4 step is a nutrition plan. I think everyone needs to have a personalized nutrition plan, and gone are the days of these cookie cutter diets, where there's a one size fits all plan for everyone. We know now that is just absolutely not the case. It doesn't work. This is about self-care, and you have a unique body, you have unique needs, you have a unique medical history and unique genetics. So you need a personalized nutrition plan. And that's really important. What are you without your health? We're not a lot. We can make all the money, we can have the best relationships, but really if your body isn't going to take you to tomorrow, it's going to be a problem. So we have to start focusing on that. And we have to be very serious, because look, what's happened in the last year, a lot of people are feeling very dependent on a system that has never worked very well, if we're being honest. So I think if anything that this year has taught us, that we should start getting really responsible for our own bodies and our own health and prioritizing that, eating right, supplementing right, sleeping the proper amount, drinking the right kind of water, enough water, getting clean, again, removing these negative limiting beliefs and thoughts. That kind of stuff manifests physically as well. So actively healing your traumas and things, that kind of is a different part of it, but still very important. So yeah, personalized nutrition is very, very important, and we need to act on that immediately. No excuses. I am challenging all of you to, if anything, before the end of the night, drink a full glass of water. Okay, there's that. You can start there right now. Number 5 is creating rituals and routines. And this is so important. This really was one of the biggest things. And I mean, probably naturally we all sort of do this, but to really truly curate these rituals and routines around what makes you feel your best self, it's so important. When you get up at the same time every day, when you do your meditation in the morning, when you're not starting your day with a huge heavy meal, that type of thing. And those are part of like your routines, your bedtime routine. It's important to have a skincare routine and these things as women. And rituals, those are something that it's more of a sacred experience. So maybe you're scheduling a spa treatment, and I say a spa treatment, but I do want to mention that I kind of am not all about the self-care as escapism idea. So I don't like how people are like, okay, I need a self-care day, which means in your head, you're escaping from this life you've created. And that is not the goal here. Really, truly, self-care is about each moment of each day, like I talked about. It's never going to be about, I need to go get away from this life that I've created. It's about creating the life that you love and that you deserve in each moment. So if a ritual for you is the spa, that's amazing. I love that. I love the spa. I'm all about it, but that's not what self-care is, which is sort of like the mainstream idea of that. Number 6, the sixth step, is your career and finances. And right here under health is going to be money, ladies. Like, we have to make money. We have to have our own money, and it doesn't have to be hard. You can do that in any way that you want to, but you have to do it. And I would suggest, in my experience, doing something that you love. If you are unhappy where you are in your work or whatever, start creating a plan. Again, don't be overwhelmed, but there is something that you're passionate about that deep in your stomach that you could make a living doing, and that you feel lit up just thinking about doing that. And if you're not doing that right now, why? Start making steps toward that, because I promise you, it's possible. Anything is possible. But career and finances are very important, because at the end of the day, we need money. Like, even if you have a job and you're helping everyone and you're so passionate about that, like, if you're not able to pay your own bills at the end of the day, you're not really helping anyone. So that's really important. And then number 7 is pleasure. I believe we are here to enjoy. We are here to live and pleasure, and we are here to experience all that life has to offer. And it needs to be a priority. You need to schedule that if you need to. Put it on your calendar, whatever makes you feel good, anything. I don't know what that is for you, but make sure you're doing that daily. Find something that you love daily and enjoy it. Feel the feelings of pleasure and really sit with it while you're doing it, and watch it and do that as often as possible. So there are my 7 steps to becoming a selfish bitch. I am That Selfish Bitch on Instagram. You can find me there. If you have any questions, please DM me. I'd love to talk more about self-care. I'd love to answer any questions, anything. Thank you again, guys, for all being here and sharing this space. I'm having a great time. I hope everyone else is too. Thank you, Mandy.
Thanks, girl. That was great. I love that you kind of highlight that the self-care isn't necessarily like escapism, because I feel like that is such a tendency for a lot of us is I'm going to go get my nails done because I just need to like get away, right? I just need to get out of the house. And it's like we're waiting for that one day that's our self-care day. And I used to live in that space, like Fridays were like my self-care days. I would go get all my things done. And then I'd like come back home and it's just like the whole routine would start over again. And I would feel these 6 days of like stress and overworking and neglect, and then have one day. And that one day will never make up for the other 6 days. Like flat out, it never will. We have to be honest with ourselves. We're always just going to become more depleted and more drained. And so after like really kind of implementing the things you've implemented, people will like message me on Instagram or like friends of mine, and they're like, literally, do you just like do self-care all day, every day? And I'm like, I have to, like, through my health journey. And I think so many women who've had health struggles learn this really quick, that if I don't prioritize my self-care every moment, like I wake up and I'm like, what supplements do I need to take? Not because I feel like obligated. I didn't replace them for prescription. It's I want to take them because I love my body and my body needs it. And then it's like, okay, what would make me feel good? Having a cup of tea or going to open my laptop and start working? What would make me feel good right now, right? And honoring that space. And then it's like, okay, lunch is coming. Like I need to prep for lunch. I need to take a pause for lunch. I need to go for a walk. I need to take a bath tonight because I like to take baths. And so it's just, I'm constantly thinking of the next thing I'm going to do, whether it's in 10 minutes, an hour, or 5 hours from now, that is going to be for me self-care. And since I've switched that, I've actually created more abundance in my life and more happiness. And I don't have to wait till Friday to go get my nails done or wait till Friday to go like do things anymore. It's like, I'm not actually spending a lot of money on self-care anymore because I'm actually doing it every single day in the smallest, simplest ways. And, I really encourage everyone that's on to like take these steps that Brittany gives and like really lay them out in a practical way. And I know that can be really challenging for people in like an individual way because you're like, how? I'm a mom. I've got kids. Like I can't do that. Or I don't have the money, or I don't even have a clue what this even means. So working with her one-on-one really helps people like take their life, and she helps like find these ninja ways of incorporating them in. And it's just really beautiful. So if you feel like you need someone just like to mentor you just a little bit to get the ball rolling and kind of switch the mindset, she's absolutely amazing at that. And you've done that so much for me. So thank you so much for that.
Yes.
I want to kind of share just a little bit more on the astrology that kind of goes along with what Brittany was talking about. And then because Diana's coming on next, and she, like I said, is going to dive really deep with us into getting over our fears and these self-limiting beliefs. And that's kind of like that piece of the puzzle where it's like, we have the one side of us that's like, I want these things. I want to manifest them. I know I want them. They're out there for me. I have the passion. I have the drive. I think about it all day, every day. And then the actual action steps of getting on your social media and posting that video, or applying for that job interview that you know damn right you're probably not qualified for, but you could probably do a better job than the other person, right? So we have this like weird space in between, like I want it all, but like I don't know how to get there because I'm so afraid. And so she's going to talk about that fearlessness. So I just want to kind of share about the astrology. Then we'll take like a 5-minute break because when she comes on, we kind of have to go out of this mindset of learning and downloading that we've been doing for the last hour into kind of our own little space, our own little bubble. So I want you guys to take 5 minutes to like go stand up, take a little walk around your house, grab a drink of water, empty your bladder so you can sit here in peace. And then Diana will hop on. So we'll do that in just a moment. So as far as the astrology goes, I want to just kind of talk about, we're like in the middle of the year right now. We're kind of to like June, July. And what I really want to highlight for the entire summer for you guys is that we're going to be in this retrograde cycle. So summer is a time where kids are out of school. We're kind of like excited and antsy to like get out there and do all these things again, especially after 2020. But what I'm going to say is this entire year is trying to lay a foundation. So don't rush ahead. We're going to be in retrogrades. We're going to have a lot of things going on. So if this summer you're kind of feeling like, I just want to live with my kids. I just want to enjoy the time with my friends and family. I started with Aries season. I got on this goal. I started running for it. I became more selfish. I started doing all these things. If the summer rolls around, some part in July and August, and you start feeling like, I'm not making any headway. I started this Instagram and I'm stuck at like 400 followers. I opened my store and I had a lot of traffic the first 2 months, but now it's kind of dying out. Or, you know, like you started a new project, maybe you opened an Etsy shop or whatever, and you're running into this roadblock, this wall. Don't be discouraged. Write that down right now in July and August. Don't be discouraged. Note to self, don't be discouraged. This is part of our process, okay? So like when we kind of hit that wall, we start to think, maybe this business isn't for me. Maybe I'm never going to make it on social media. Maybe blah, blah, blah. Every single person that has accomplished a goal is going to kind of reflect back and be like, yeah, I had that. That happened to me. If we look at astrology, we can anticipate that coming. This is the beauty of looking at an astrological forecast, is saying we can anticipate this. So when it happens, we're not all sitting here freaking out about it. We're like, oh yeah, okay, this is part of the universe's plan to get us to slow down, to get us to reflect, to kind of, you know, realize what's maybe not working. So don't take it personal and don't be discouraged. I just really, really, really want to highlight that. Okay, so let's see, it's 9:23. How about we take 5 minutes, come back at 9:28.
So the recording didn't pick up live Diana's introduction on neurolinguistic programming and breathwork. So I wanted to make sure I dive into that a little bit before we actually get to the breathwork session. So Diana simply introduced herself. She works with neurolinguistic programming to help people reprocess the subconscious thoughts and beliefs that we've been ingrained into us since we were born, as children, and throughout our whole life. We've been told stories to believe certain things. We've seen patterns of behavior from other people, which we've then internalized to believe certain things. And then we become adults and realize that some of those beliefs don't benefit us anymore. However, it's so difficult to stop being who you are, stop thinking the way that you've always thought. And so using neurolinguistic programming to reprocess the brain is Diana's total forte and scope of genius. So today she's actually going to do a breathwork session with us. So go ahead and lay down. She's going to describe to us how to do the breath, and then she's going to play some music for about 8 minutes. That's going to help us get into the mindset and release some chemicals in our brain to better process thoughts. So you might get emotional, you might feel a little anxiety rise up, totally normal experiences. So if you want more information on what Diana offers, you can head over to her Instagram page, which is at Return to Saturn. She also has a workbook that helps people process their subconscious beliefs, fears, and limitations to manifest their best life. So I absolutely love her. I'm so sad that this introduction didn't record. However, you will totally love the breathwork session coming up next.
If you guys could lay down flat after I show you the breath, then that'll be safer and everything. So the breath looks like this. So everybody take a look, and I'm doing through my mouth, and it looks like this through my mouth. We're keeping the throat chakra very open, and it's like a very deep breath through our mouth. So if you have water, sometimes you get dry within like the first 30 seconds to a minute, but that will pass. If you need to grab your water and take a sip in that first like minute or two, you could do that, but that will pass. So the breath on your stomach and chest look like this. It's belly, chest, exhale. So we're going Randy's laughing. It's freaking me out because there's video you and there's picture you. I don't know if it's a glitch on my end or on yours. So we're going to breathe together to the beat of the music, and I just want you to lay flat so you're totally safe. If you are pregnant, breathe much, much slower, more like like 5 times slower if you're pregnant. I don't know if anybody is.
Can you show that one more time?
The belly, chest, exhale?
Yeah, the mouth and then the belly, chest.
So the mouth looks like this.
Yeah, we got to practice this.
Go ahead, yeah. And the belly, chest is like this. I'm exaggerating it with the belly and chest a little bit so you can really see what it looks like, but it's belly, chest, exhale, belly, chest, exhale. And it might be a little bit faster than you think. The beat goes, I think it's It's like that. And I swear, after, like, sometimes I feel a little bit of discomfort, excuse me, in my shoulders or traps. But after about 3 minutes, it's pure bliss, to the point where usually I start uncontrollably laughing. If you start uncontrollably crying, that's okay too. And if you get lobster claw hands, that's okay too. The oxygen's running through our body at a really rapid rate. And sometimes we get muscle cramps when we breathe like this. So it's okay if your hands feel a little stiff, or if your mouth feels a little stiff. The only thing that's not normal is pain. So if you have pain, back off, which just means do it slower. So I'm going to now share a sound with you. If you want to practice that breath together for a second. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But let's go belly, chest, exhale together just for a couple seconds. Open that mouth more, Mandy. Yeah, allow your body to really take in that oxygen and feel good. Feel it all through your diaphragm. Not like this. You know, as if you're surprised. Like you're open here. Good. Does anybody have any questions? All right. I want you to give me a thumbs up if, like, or whatever. Just let me know if it's too loud or good volume. Cool. All right. So we're going to breathe together on the beat. And I'll do it with you. And just remember to lay flat. I don't want anybody falling over, because you can get really dizzy with this, but it's nice. All right, let's start with a big inhale in through our nose. And an exhale through our mouth. And then I'm going to begin with the belly, chest, exhale breath with you. And we're going to go belly, chest, exhale. Belly, chest, exhale, and then I'm going to speed it up. Twice as fast. Remember, it's okay to take water in the beginning. Good, keep going. This is it, love, unrestrainable nature. We can belly, chest, exhale, belly, chest, exhale. We can challenge all our borders. There is always a leader, there is always an order. Our pathway is proceeding and the way is always changing. We are free from what prevents us. It's okay if it feels a little uncomfortable. Right past that is bliss. I've been told I walk through the valley of my own shadow. Free from all old stories I've been told, I walk through the valley of my own shadow.
you, and I'm grateful for the search to dive deep within my own mind and to trust the intuition of the lives I've lived before this are essential form of gnosis. It's a simple form of freedom. It's as smooth as inhalation. Oh, the exhale is releasing all the tension I've been feeling on the surface and beneath me. I'm connecting to my spirit, and I'm here now right before you. I am present in this moment, and my life's work is to honor the great beauty all around you. Oh, 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 free from all old stories I've been told. I walk through the valley of my own shadow. Free from all old stories I've been told. I walk through the valley of my own shadow.
You guys are doing great. You guys are almost done. Just 2 more minutes of breath. Belly, chest, exhale. Belly, chest, exhale. Keep that throat chakra open. Perfect.
Cracks in your head speak to the care of the land. Cracks in your head speak to the care of the land. Work of the earth, work of the soil, dig down, holy soil. Work of the earth, holy soil, dig down, 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 down. Down, down, down.
Perfect. For the last minute, I just want you guys to take deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, regulating your nervous system, coming back to your body, feeling your chest, touching it if you need to, feeling your belly, touching that if you need to. And just move down your body, feel your hips, feel your legs, and feel your feet. And just take deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth until you come back to your body. And then you can turn on your camera whenever you're ready, or give me a thumbs up that you're ready to come back to Earth.
Sun of a new day on fertile ground. Bounty, wealth, bounty, fertile ground, fertile ground, fertile ground. Am I the only one that found that so difficult to breathe the whole time? Is that normal?
No, that's totally normal. I don't like the
Okay.
word normal, but it's common, especially the first time. It's a different feeling that you're inviting into your body, and sometimes we attribute these feelings to like not being able to breathe. Or some people might go into a space of like panic even a little bit. I don't like to say that beforehand because then people expect panic. But if you felt like, oh my God, this is really difficult, like I'm not comfortable, totally common, and that's okay too. Sometimes that happens when your body, either just like a plant ceremony, if it doesn't want to go deep, it literally won't go deep. So sometimes, and this was a different container than like my classes or my one-on-ones. We were kind of like rushing to get into it, and we had 9 minutes to breathe. But usually when that in the beginning is very common, and then we pass through the discomfort and really discover like what our body's trying to communicate with us. And but it's really cool. It's cool that you had an experience that brought up any sort of feeling, because that's where healing all starts, is kind of drumming up the feelings that like are just kind of like floating like oil on water at the surface, and we kind of want to like break it up a little bit. Anybody else want to comment or questions or share?
I had tears running down my face, but I didn't feel like emotionally like I was crying, but then I was like, I went to go get up and I was like, why is my face wet?
Yeah, this like, it's connecting because I just did a mushroom journey this week, but that happened to me during that too. So like that's common for the body to sometimes, when you visit this space, your mind and body can sometimes separate in a way, and not in a bad way, but kind of and not in a dissociative way either, but just in the way that your body has experienced more than your mind, because the conscious mind can only take in 7 bits of information at a time, and your body is taking in so many different things and vibrations and sounds and feelings and everything at once, like that you don't realize. So when we visit this space, it's very common for the body to experience things that the mind isn't consciously even aware of. It's really cool though.
Makes sense.
I love that everyone's going to have this recording. So what do you suggest people do with the recording, like to kind of keep practicing this? Like, can they listen to the same one like every day, at least a couple times a week? Like, how do you suggest people use it from here on out?
I would suggest making your own playlist of like 4 songs that really get you, depending on where you want to go, emotional songs, party songs. When I like to focus on abundance or like feeling sexy, I do like reggae and I breathe to that. When I want to focus on, like moving through childhood trauma, I might put on 90s songs like Hootie and the Blowfish that make me cry, and so I recommend making your own playlist of like 4 or 5 songs, like 20 or 30 minutes, and do that breath to it. And then this is like a secret, make the second to last or the third to last song something that has a really strong, maybe either rock presence, rap presence, something that you would like to like scream it out to. Like sometimes I do Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce. What's the one? About not giving up. What you want from me is the truth you see. I didn't expect to rap on this call, but that's the one. And then I forget the name of the song. Freedom. It's called Freedom. And just like a song to yell it out to. So that's my trick. And I also hold breathwork classes bi-weekly. So you can find all the info out from my Instagram at Return to Saturn. And my next breathwork class is on the 24th, this coming Wednesday at 8 Eastern. And you could just DM me for all the info and I'll get you set up. And it's like we breathe for a half hour, and then there's like an hour of a group coaching container like this. And it's so fucking special. I love it. So you guys should definitely come join. I would love to see you there.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. I just love that when I'm stuck in a mental space where I'm not able to like work my mind in a conscious way on like wanting to do something different, I'm able to kind of tap into like these modalities where it's like, let my subconscious do the work, because consciously, like I can't make a different decision. Like every time this triggers me, I'm always going to react. Like it's just such a big trigger in my life, probably from karma, past life, whatever. But I want to change, right? It's like, I think this is great for people that like really have a desire to change, but they feel that loop in their life where it's like, I just don't know how to break the cycle. I don't know how to be different than what I am.
And you just described what I do very efficiently and perfectly. I literally take people, whether it's using breathwork or all of my NLP and hypnosis modalities, I take them from just like literally wanting to change, but not knowing the how, because we're not taught these things. We're taught how to sit in class and learn in one specific way and act as society standards tell us to, and anything outside of that little box is wrong. And then we're told that there's something wrong with us. And instead, I just like to take people from the fuck, I'm not happy in this space that I'm at, but I want to change it, and the how. It's like you're at the top of the roller coaster and the how is the ride. And I take people for the ride instead of sitting up there all nauseous and shit.
Oh, I love it. Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you, talk to you all, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Can you make me the host again now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
No, it's my show now. Make host. There you go.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I am going to keep on going with the rest of the zodiac seasons. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I know some people need to get off shortly. So what I'm going to do is finish these zodiac seasons. Then I'm going to do my giveaway. I'm going to do 2 giveaways. I'm going to give away one of my 2021 retrograde journals. So if you have one, awesome, share it with someone. Or if you don't have one, maybe today is your day to get one. And then the other one I'm going to do is a mini birth chart reading. And why I want to do this is because I gave you guys all that information about the degrees and figuring out like what moons and all these things are going to be happening. And I know that can be a little confusing. So I'm going to do a mini birth chart reading with whoever wins, and kind of talk to you about like the astrological events and which ones are going to impact you the most. So we'll kind of go over that. So hopefully you guys can see my screen here. Let me go ahead and make this bigger. And we ended with Gemini season. And then I talked a little bit about the summer. So like I was saying, the summer is going to have a lot more retrogrades. We have Jupiter retrograde beginning here. We have a Neptune retrograde beginning in June as well. So many different retrogrades are going to be happening throughout the entire summer. So when they do start happening, if you have your retrograde journal, this is really the reason why I made this journal, is because of the retrogrades. It then developed and grew into like the new moons and the full moons. And then I had to add this and I had to add that because I'm Virgo and a total perfectionist. So the point was, because retrogrades are meant to be lessons. Retrograde, redo, relearn, recommit, re-understand, everything. And so when a retrograde happens, we need to really pay attention, because this is when the chaos in our life happens. This is when the shit storms happen, because we can't just keep moving forward. We can't just keep doing the things that we always do in the same way and expect a different result, right? Like we've all heard that saying before. So retrogrades are kind of these little blips in time that kind of say, you know what, like this is popping up, this chaos is happening to bring attention to you, right? It's kind of like, think about when you stub your toe, right? Our immediate reaction is like, oh, what the hell? This hurts so bad. Why does this happen to me? But the lesson, this is what the retrograde teaches us. The lesson is slow down. Why are you rushing, right? If you weren't rushing, you wouldn't have stubbed your toe. If you were paying attention to the steps in front of you, you wouldn't have hit that door, right? We all do it. But the retrograde, the chaos is like this hello, this like red flag of we got to pay attention to this. So understanding what each planet's lesson is going to be for us is really, really important. And I'm going to do another one of these videos, like events, towards like the end of April before retrograde season begins. And I'm actually going to dive into every single planet. That's all we're going to talk about at that one. It'll be like probably an hour, but I'm going to go through like every single unique planet, the lessons that it teaches us, the things that we can expect. So kind of like what I talked about in the journal, but like more in depth. We're going to talk about the degrees, like where it's happening in the sky and what other planets are going to be affecting it. So I don't want to go too much into detail about the retrogrades now, but just know that during the summer, as they're happening and you kind of hear about them more and more, don't get frustrated. So we'll skip through Leo season. The only thing in Leo season, if you guys want to take a note, in Leo season, we have the 8-8 portal. I know that sounds foreign for a lot of people, but you'll hear it come up and now it'll like make sense to you. So on 8-8, August 8th, is what we call in astrology the 8-8 portal. There is a lot of history to it and science, but essentially we have this day that happens during Leo season. Leo is the zodiac sign of children, creativity, romance, joy. It's such a fun time of year. However, it can be a little selfish. It can be a little cocky, a little overconfident. Think of the lion, right? Like you see a lion and you're like, wow, it's so majestic. It just does what it wants to do. And it's so graceful and beautiful, but like it also has that like, oh, it's a lion, like kind of scary, right? When it's like too much in its power. So we have this 8-8 portal that happens during Leo season. And we need to embrace the positive aspects of Leo because it's a manifestation portal. This is the day to manifest. So if there's going to be a ritual that you do around the 8-8 portal, make it be around manifestation. And you want to use the energy of Leo, which is childlike, creativity, joy, romance. So when you can be a child and you can just have fun and be creative, like think of a hobby you used to do when you were a child that you loved: painting, rollerblading, building things, playing with Legos. I mean, this would be like a great time to kind of like get back to those things that you love to do where you're creative and super childlike. Because when we do those things, we connect with our heart. Leo is about heart energy. It doesn't seem like it because you think like the lion like would have nothing to do with the heart, but it's all about the heart. So getting into our heart space, feeling joy, feeling creative, feeling childlike, and feeling romantic is going to open our heart. And that allows us to vibrate on a higher frequency, right? Because don't you feel hella good when you're just like running around? Like, have you ever played on a playground as an adult? Like, honestly, how do you feel in that moment? You're like smiling. Get on a swing and try not to smile. I dare you. It's not going to happen. So like when you feel that smile come on because you're doing these childlike activities, it seems silly, but like you're actually increasing your vibration. When we increase our vibration, we're opening possibilities of manifestation. So put this 8-8 portal down in your calendar and kind of remember to do something along that line to lead to your manifestation, to get us through that retrograde, because we're going to be in the thick of retrograde season. We got to like hold on to those little like pieces of hope. And the 8-8 portal happening right in the middle of retrograde season is this beautiful day where we're going to get this like, be like, hey, you can manifest whatever. Like shit might be hitting the fan, retrogrades might be happening, but like, this is your day to say, when this is all over, when all the dust settles from this chaos, what do I want? What do I want my life to look like? So it's really important to have an 8-8 portal during the middle of a retrograde season. Moving into Virgo season, I always laugh when Virgo season comes around because it literally falls in line with back to school season. And Virgo is all about like, look at Post-it notes. Like I'm a Virgo sun, Post-it notes everywhere, like markers and organizing and to-do lists and structure. So then we have like back to school season. And that's like when we're all like got our to-do list. We have all the things we need for back to school season. So during this season, we don't have anything majorly new happening. We still have the retrogrades. We have a full moon and a new moon. So this is the time of year where you're going to kind of take some time for your health. Virgo is a health and wellness. So I always use Virgo season as like a pause and a reminder of, have I gotten my yearly checkup? Have I gotten my teeth cleaned? Have I gotten all the things done that I've been putting off all year, right? We're already into August. It's over halfway done. And we always wait until like the end of the year to do those things, or we don't do them at all. So Virgo season, I always think immediately health and wellness and what could I be doing better in those areas of my life? So with the retrogrades happening, it's probably gonna be really important to kind of this be one of the aspects of your life that you're gonna have to probably improve upon. We all can. Moving into Libra season, we have our third and final Mercury retrograde of the year. So we had 3 this year. We already had one that completed in Aquarius. We're going to have that second one in Gemini, like I said, in May. That's going to be super stereotypical Mercury retrograde symptoms. But this one in Libra is the one that we need to like put a little like exclamation point next to, because it's happening in the sign of Libra, which is relationships. This is going to be a relationship retrograde focused. How we like deal with relationships, the balance, the fairness. If you have a relationship that you are currently sitting in today, that it just doesn't feel fair, friendship, romantic partner, family, coworker, boss, whatever, relationship with even your work. You know, if you have a job where you just don't feel like you're getting paid the effort you're putting in, that's a relationship that's unjust. Libra is the scales, balance and harmony. So if you sit here today and you have a relationship that you don't feel like is even, it's fair, that's going to play out through the retrograde cycle. And when you get to this Mercury retrograde, that's when that kind of thing is going to like blow up. That's when you're really going to dig in and be like, all right, enough's enough. Like, I want fair relationships. I want equal exchanges of energy. This is laws of the universe stuff. We should not be giving more than we're getting. And we also shouldn't be taking more than we're giving. So Libra in a Mercury retrograde is saying, hey, analyze those relationships. Does it feel fair? Are you maybe taking too much? Are you expecting too much? But are you showing up equally? You know, and then vice versa. Are you giving too much to someone and they just never show up for you? So September 27th, you know, that's going to be like when that kind of like plays out and you're going to really have to face it. But if you can start doing some work on that now, that Mercury retrograde won't seem so dramatic. It'll kind of just be more of like a wave versus like a monsoon. So kind of put that in your head right now. Analyze and assess as you go through the rest of the year, those things, because it's really, really important. How can you reach your goals? How can you manifest beautiful things if you're giving too much and not getting, or if you're giving back and taking too much, right? Everything has to be equal. And then the most beautiful thing after that is we have a bunch of planets coming out of retrograde. We have Saturn is going direct, Mercury is going direct, Jupiter is going direct after Mercury starts that retrograde. So this is beautiful because it's saying like all the other things have been worked out. The last thing you need to work out here is your relationships, is the even exchange of things. So when we get to that point, keep that in mind. I'll probably talk way more about this stuff in depth, but just put it on your calendar. Scorpio season, I laugh in Scorpio season too, because Scorpio is about going deep. It's about secrets. It's occult. It's witchy. It's transformative. It's all that like stuff below the surface, the subconscious mind, you know, those kind of things. And it happens during Halloween. So super interesting, probably not a coincidence. But during Scorpio season is when we want to go deep. It's when we want to do those things that we're uncomfortable. It's kind of like having conversations and dealing with those things in our lives that like are below the surface that we like to kind of bury because we don't want to handle it. And this will be a beautiful year to do it because like I said, we have all these planets coming out of retrograde. Then we're going to have the veil lifted. We're going to feel more strong. We're going to feel more capable of handling the tough things. So this Scorpio season, you'll feel like more capable of dealing with it. So if you don't feel like dealing with the hard stuff until then, that's okay. It'll come and play out later in the year. Moving into Sagittarius season, we have our last planet, Neptune's going to come direct. Mercury is going to be direct again. So this is going to be really beautiful. We're going to have like this very short blip in time where we're only going to have maybe 1 or 2 planets in retrograde before Venus makes her move. Now I want to bring this up because Venus retrograde is pretty monumental for our relationships. It's like first Mercury is going to come in and work on like the communication and the balance and the fairness in relationships. And then Venus comes in to change our heart. In a Venus retrograde, we really have these epiphanies like, oh, maybe I don't care about this person as much, or maybe I want my relationship to be much better with this person. Like the whole time you could be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And then a Venus retrograde comes along and you're like, oh my God, I want to be all in. Or maybe you're completely single and all of a sudden like Venus retrograde happens and you get these like downloads of like, now's my time. Now's my time. So look and see on that transit chart what degree Venus retrograde is going to be happening in and where that falls in your chart. Do you have other planets that are going to be happening in that Venus retrograde space? Because if so, if you do have other planets in the Venus retrograde space, it's going to be in Capricorn. So you can check your chart right now just to see if you have anything in Capricorn. But if that's the case, then it's definitely going to affect you more than someone else. But Just remember, put a little like asterisk, a little note. During Venus retrogrades, we do not change our relationship status. We do not. We do not get married. We don't make decisions. We don't break up. We don't date someone new because, like I said, Venus retrograde changes our heart. So if, let's say, you meet someone and you start dating them during a Venus retrograde, when the retrograde's over and your heart goes back to like, you know, thinking logically instead of with your heart, now you might like start getting really upset with them all the time, having expectations, like you're coming from a different space. So you don't want to start a relationship. You also don't want to end a relationship. If you break up in a Venus retrograde, that will most likely be one of those relationships that circles back around. Like 3 weeks later, you're back together and dating again, or you're kind of like thinking, oh man, did I make the right decision? So wait it out, get through the retrograde cycle. Don't be rash. Don't like, just expect to feel different about things and people, and then marinate on it. That's the retrograde, asking you to reanalyze, rethink, reassess. You know, that's the point of a retrograde. And then I say, don't get married during a Venus retrograde, because simply, who wants a Venus retrograde in their marriage birth chart if you can avoid it? It's not the worst thing, but you know, if you can avoid it, definitely avoid it. Moving into Capricorn season. So this is obviously around the holidays. We have nothing super major. It's mostly going to be happening in January. The end of December is actually going to look really beautiful. That's when Jupiter goes into Pisces. We're going to get through the holidays. It should be a really good kind of holiday season. Maybe a couple crazy things with Saturn and Uranus, but I don't want to dive too much in that. But it'll look pretty good. We're going to start the new year in January actually feeling pretty fresh. It's going to be different than this year, where we kind of like came out of 2020 like a little like wobbly, like I don't even know what exists. I don't really know what's true. Like, do I do this? Do I do that? But by this time next year, things will be so much clearer. You'll actually be on a path. You'll know what you feel. You know what you believe. The energy is just going to be so much different. It's going to be like direct forward. That's all I'm really going to say for that. And then just to touch up really quick, I know a lot of people said this to me this year. We have the new year, right? December into January is what we consider the new year. This past year, I don't know about you guys, so many people were telling me that they just like didn't feel motivated to have New Year's resolutions. They were like, I really don't feel it this year. Like, I want to get healthy. I want to start working out. I want to do these things, but I just like, I'm not ready. Like, I feel like this last year has just been chaotic and I'm just not ready. So then January rolled by and they still didn't start. Then February rolled by and they didn't start. If you felt that way this year and just like you weren't ready to start like a to-do list in January, that's like our intuition. That's our soul's blueprint of knowing that we don't follow this like calendar year of January to December. Your soul probably follows more of this astrological year when the sun transits versus like our calendar. So if that happens next year and you're also not motivated to do these New Year's resolution things, don't beat yourself up. Just know that like when March rolls around, that's your season. You're kind of following the astrological wheel versus the like calendar wheel, right? So keep that in mind. Then we move into Aquarius season. This will be really heightened for most people because we are in the age of Aquarius. So with all these planets being in Aquarius, we're going to really re-emphasize those humanitarian themes. So being more of a humanitarian, being unique, being quirky, being innovative. That's kind of what Aquarius is all about. So it kind of wraps up our astrological year because it's like, we've done all the things throughout the year. We went through all the retrogrades. We've learned a lot of lessons. We've gotten really far on our goals. And then Aquarius is the 11th season. Like, we're almost there. We're almost done with the cycle. We've almost completed the year. We almost did it. So what happens now is that we get to Aquarius season and things just feel like a lot more settled. They feel like I can be me. I can be unique. I can be whatever I want to be. And now you want to give back. Once you've made it, giving back is one of the most important things. So that's why the 11th zodiac season is about humanitarianism. Everything that you've accomplished this year, put in your notes for this season, you want to give back. So if you made a bunch of money, this is going to be the time of year where you're going to want to start deciding how you're going to give back to others. You know, could I surprise my mom with something? Could I donate to a local charity? Maybe you went to see like a doctor and they went above and beyond for you and you want to like donate to their favorite charity or something like that. Like, be really unique with it. if it's not money, let's say you were blessed with like so many new networks, like so many new connections. You met people that you never expected to meet. You got in contact with like someone really high in a position. Pass that forward, right? Because there's always going to be somebody in our social group that like wishes they could meet. Like for me, being a holistic health coach, I meet people all the time. They're like, oh, I'm just looking for the right doctor. And they're just like praying and praying. And they've gone through all the yellow pages. They've probably seen 10 doctors already. And it's like, well, I have a really good friend who's a doctor. Let me connect you, right? And like, to me, it's no big deal. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't I help you out? But to them, it's everything. So think in this terms, we can even start doing that now. You might have one friend that like keeps telling you have like a passion or goal for something. And if you really sat and thought, maybe I know somebody that could help them. Maybe not. Maybe I think they could help them, and they connect and they find out that they like actually have no way of mutually benefiting each other. But what if they did? Or what if that person talks to this person and ends up knowing someone else, right? Humanitarianism. So we don't have to give money. We can give our resources. We can even give like our time, lending an ear to someone, being a little extra patient, giving a little bit extra time to someone makes all the difference. And so that's what Aquarius season wants to remind us. And we're in the age of Aquarius. So although we have all these other seasons that, you know, teach us other lessons, we have to kind of be mindful of this like Aquarius, like overruling theme, because by doing all those things, we actually like raise our good karma and we raise our abundance, and then we allow better things to flow. So like I said, that Libra balance of energy, it goes both ways. So keep that in mind. And then we always wrap up the astrological year with Pisces season. I know this is like so far out, being in 2020 or 2022, sorry, being in 2022. However, we just got out of Pisces season, so it's very fresh in our heads. And that's why I want to take a moment to talk about it, because not only is it going to anticipate our next year, 2022, but it's going to help us kind of reflect what the hell just happened to us the last 4 weeks. Pisces season is about going deep. There is like no action going on in Pisces season. It's about sitting in it. Literally sitting in it. If you felt like you have cried more tears in the last 4 weeks than you probably have in the last 6 months, that's super common in Pisces season. If you feel like you've been triggered by things that you thought you were over, you didn't care about, like you've moved on, that's totally normal in Pisces season. So if you're coming off of that, like, I don't want to say a low, like a dull, of just kind of like feeling all the feels and feeling frustrated and feeling emotionally triggered, and then maybe even turning to some dependency or addiction. And that can be, you know, substance, it can be shopping, it can be self-sabotage, like whatever it might be. That is Pisces season's downfall. When we feel deep, deep things, or we're really, really triggered, we run to our addictive behaviors as a crutch. And Pisces season really like brings that up. And it brings it up to like make us aware of it, right? Like we don't know about our shit till we sit in our shit, till it's right in our face. And so if you're coming off of Pisces season being like, wow, I actually drank a lot more than like I have in a long time. Or maybe I just spent a bunch of money and like I didn't really mean to, but I thought it would make me feel better, and now I don't feel any better. You now know for next year in Pisces season, you can make those little notes of like, all right, this is what I expect. When it happens, these are like my coping mechanisms. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make plans. And you can see here where I put things to plan on every single one of these. That's how you're going to harness the energy of that season. So I really challenge you guys to go back through every single one of the seasons and try to schedule all those things within the 4 weeks, even just once, or maybe one of them calls to you, like the spend time around water. Maybe that really, really calls to you in that season, and you do that like once a week committedly or every other day committedly. That's going to help you kind of process the emotions, for instance, in Pisces season or other zodiac seasons. It helps you kind of like feel that energy and use it to your benefit. So I hope that kind of made sense. That's the beauty with Aries season. That's why I love it so much. That's why I wanted to host this event, because we get out of Pisces season, we just feel like blah, but we're like ready. Like I want new, like I've been craving new since 2020. So with every ending of a cycle is the beginning of a new. And we just have this opportunity right now to sit in our space and to move forward and to kind of start trucking along at those goals, whatever that looks like for you. Whether they're small, whether they're big, it really doesn't matter. It's just about kind of getting through month by month, kind of learning the lessons in the retrogrades and by this time next year, you guys will be able to look back and be like, wow, I freaking made it. And that's what I love about thinking ahead, is you can like look back and be like, wow, okay, we did those things. So that kind of, hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to just kind of go over a couple like goal setting things to kind of help you guys navigate this. I don't want to talk too long. I'm going to do my giveaway, and I'll stay on for anyone that has specific questions about their chart or the events or anything like that. And hopefully you guys can see me again. And then before we hop off, I'll pull a goddess card for us, because I think most of you guys know, like, I'm obsessed with the goddess cards. So this will kind of help us set those intentions for the next year. Give us a goddess to focus on. Okay, so what I want you guys to do as far as goal setting and intention setting, when we hop off of this, I know there was like so much, like from the technology issues to like different guest speakers. We talked about all different topics. This was a lot of information on astrology. What I want you to do is kind of just sit for just 5 minutes, like hop off of here. I know you guys probably have to run, go to bed, all these things, but I'm telling you 5 minutes is going to make a massive difference. Get off of here, set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. And I want you to just journal and write whatever comes into your mind from the event tonight. Because there was so much information, and everyone's going to resonate and hold on to different pieces of information differently, right? So if you start thinking about something I talked about an hour ago, that's probably your brain and your soul saying, that was a nugget I really need to dive deeper in. You don't need to dive deeper into it tonight or anything like that, but it's like making mental notes of like, I really resonated with that. I really remembered that she said relationship stuff's going to come up around this time of year. And that way, by tomorrow, when you wake up after you've slept, after you've processed, after your subconscious has taken in all this information, when you wake up tomorrow and you look back at that piece of paper, you'll kind of look at it with fresh eyes. You know, every time we wake up, we kind of wake up with fresh eyes. Like what happened yesterday seems kind of distant, and new thoughts pop into our head and new ideas kind of formulate in the mornings. So those 5 minutes, honestly, is going to make such a difference. And then when you guys watch the replay, you're going to be able to have like a different perspective every time you watch it. Because you might watch this in August and be like, oh my gosh, I am here and I didn't think I would be here. So I would do that for the intentions. And then when you're all done with those 5 minutes, right, when your timer goes off, I want you to write one positive thing about yourself. It can be about anything. And I say this because before you go to bed, you should always remind yourself how fucking awesome you are. Like literally the last thing you think of before you go to bed is, I freaking made it through today. I did this and I didn't think I could, whatever it might be. Because why would you want to fall asleep with anything else on your brain, right? Like we don't need to think about tomorrow. We don't need to think about the past. We need to think about how freaking awesome I am today. And then the second thing I want you to do is I want you to set a goal for tomorrow on how to be more selfish. Kind of incorporating what Brittany said. You guys have all those 6 things. She talked about it. I know you guys heard her, but we don't need to wait till Monday. Like, you know, we always say, so I'll start on Monday. You guys can start it literally tomorrow morning. So one goal for tomorrow that's going to help you be more selfish. Whether it's like, I take 5 minutes at noon to ignore everybody and sit in silence. I'm going to take that bubble bath I've been telling myself I'm going to take. I'm going to go for a walk because I love my body and I respect my body and I deserve it, whatever it might be. Those 2 things before you guys wrap up tonight. And then as far as your goal setting for the year, baby steps. I'm going to bring that back up. See your dream, see your vision, feel it in your heart during Aries season. You'll feel the passion, you'll feel the drive. But this year is all about building the foundation. I'm telling you right now, for those of you who like run wild and chaotic towards your dreams, you're like, I want to open an Etsy store. So you open one tomorrow and you start putting like random pictures up and all this chaos. You're going to get 500 orders tomorrow and then be like, I don't know what to do. And then you might disappoint a bunch of people and then no one's going to order from you again, right? Like that happens. It's amazing. Oh my gosh, you manifested it. Awesome. But your structure and your foundation wasn't in place. So there's beauty in both. One shows you that you're capable. The other actually creates long sustaining, ability. But it just can be more frustrating. So when you set your goals, just always remember we're in a ground building year. So it's always amazing to have big dreams. I always dream way too big sometimes, but baby steps. One brick builds a castle, okay? keep that in mind when you set your goals. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to share right now. I want to thank you guys so much for being patient with all the tech stuff. I'm so glad it's like working now. I will get all the recording like all edited into one video. I will send it to you guys. You'll have the link. You'll be able to access it. Unlimited. And I think that's it. So I'm going to pull a goddess card. I'm going to do the giveaway. And then, like I said, I'm totally fired up. So I will stay on for any questions you guys have. Like, do not feel like you're bugging me or anything like that. So I always light some sage before I pull a card because, you know, clear out all the other energy. And if you guys aren't familiar with the goddess cards, it's pretty much just a deck of all the goddesses from all different cultures. This was the first deck I purchased when I was just like super curious about using a deck. For those people that really aren't familiar with a deck and kind of see it as like a weird spiritual thing, or maybe you're like, you know, have like a specific religion that isn't familiar with all these like spiritual ideas, you can use a oracle deck in many, many ways. It's not necessarily like mediumship or anything. I like to use it as like a message for what I need to be focusing on. So even if you don't believe in anything like higher and above than you, just take it as like a message for something you could focus on in your life. You know, you don't have to take it super, super literal, but you never know, little message here and there. I always pull one and I actually put it as my screensaver on the back of my phone. This one is Bridget, Don't Back Down. So every time I look at it, it says, the quote says, stand up for what you believe is right. And it's just like a message every single day that I'm like, yeah, I need to be standing up for what is right. And I don't need to back down on things that, you know, mean a lot to me. So I'm going to pull a card for us and just kind of see what we need to be focusing on over this next year. So the card that I pull will kind of be like a message. You guys can research these goddesses. The more I've dived into them, I mean, it's amazing how all these cultures have, you know, created these beautiful female, you know, images and kind of really respected them. It's so beautiful. Okay. We are going to pull this card. Oh my gosh, amazing. It's Cordelia and it says, go outside. Go outside. How freaking beautiful is that? It says, you have been indoors too long. Go outside and get some fresh air. So this card is such a message for this new year because last year it was like, although everyone usually went outside last year to get fresh air, the message was to stay indoors. So I think this is really, really beautiful for this year. Go outside, get some fresh air, get a new perspective, and use the earth as our messenger. So Taurus season rolls around. Remember I said Taurus season, it's all about lavish and our senses. We can use the earth to kind of like give us a lot of pleasure. It's right here and it's fun. Okay, so I am going to do, as we were doing the breath work, I put everyone's name in this cup. And hopefully everyone's still on that gets picked. And the first thing I will do is I'll do the birth chart reading first. Okay, so birth chart, mini birth chart reading is Debbie. Yay, that's super exciting. We will dive into your birth chart, do a little birth chart reading. And then the retrograde journal is dun, dun, dun. Leslie. I know you already have one, but I'm sure you have someone you can gift one to. Yay. Okay, awesome. Oh, you guys are both on too, right? I think so. Yes. Yay, I love when that happens. Meant to be. My gift to you, and thank you guys so much for being on. Like, honestly, you all mean so much to me and for hanging out and sticking with it today. And I'll probably do more of these. If there's any topics that you guys want me to kind of cover more or like talk about more in depth, I'm so happy to. Tina, I don't know if you're still on. Yes, I think you are. She kind of talked to me about doing more like relational astrology, helping people better understand those in their life. I think that's something I really focus on in my birth chart readings, is helping you better understand your kids, better understand your spouse, better understand your best friend, whomever it might be. So I think I'm going to start talking about that a little bit more, because when we understand someone's chart, it's like, oh, that's just who they are. Like, I can't change it. They can't change it. I mean, we can change, right, to a certain extent, but we have these energies imprinted to us, and we give a little bit more patience and grace and forgiveness to those around us when we understand them from, their birth chart. So I'll probably do more videos on that if that excites you guys at all. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I'm going to stop recording. So if you have any questions, super personal or whatever, don't be afraid. I won't be recording it. And if you guys need anything else from me, I'm here.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This event was so much fun for me to put together and to share it with you if you were live, if you're catching the replay. Thank you for sitting down for 2 hours and listening to me nerd out all about astrology. I will be having more events coming up during the year. Next month in April, I will be hosting a retrograde event, and this is where we're going to dive in really deep into each specific planetary retrograde, the lessons that that planet is bringing us, things that we should and should not be doing, and helping you make sense of the chaos to come before it happens. So when things happen to you in life, you're like, oh, haha, that was just Mercury retrograde, or haha, that's Saturn teaching me a lesson. I better pay attention. So stay tuned for information on that event coming up in April. And then later in the year, as we get into Libra season, which is halfway through the astrological year, I will be doing another event similar to this, breaking down the second half of the year. I know we talked about it today. However, the space and place that you will be in your life coming in September will be very different from where you sat today in March. So I think it's great to revisit these ideas, talk more in depth about what's coming up later on in the year. I'm also going to be putting together a lot of events related to spirituality and holistic health. Those are my other passions. So we will have many more of those events coming up. Just stay tuned to my social media, mandyrose.1111 for more information. And I send you so much love, light, and gratitude for being a part of the Holistic Soul Sister community. If you're not a part of our Facebook group, go ahead and hop over to Facebook. If you type in Holistic Soul Sisters with an S at the end, there will be our private group and also the business page that pops up. Make sure you hop into the group where we have all the behind the scenes information, an amazing community of women who are like-minded to you. And if you haven't grabbed your 2021 Retrograde Journal, I still have them available. I know it's already going into April. However, like I said, we have all the retrogrades still coming up, over 28 moon cycles to go, and 9 more sun seasons in 2021. So you haven't missed much at all. Grab that journal, send me a message, an email, whatever you need to do, and I will get it shipped out to you. Thank you guys so much. So much love, light, and gratitude to you. I honor you, and I can't wait to connect with you more. Happy astrological new year. Now go crush those goals. You have a green light from the universe. Put one foot in front of the other as you go through all 12 zodiac seasons. And I cannot wait to see where you are shining as you walk into Aries season in 2022.